Good afternoon! Ayan. Yes, pakita yung mga photo cards niya. Welcome everybody to Romance Class Kilig Cafe. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depende kung nasan kayo ngayon in the world. This is an RX Landian stream. Ayan. We are joined by our doctors and authors, Angeli Dumatol, Gonzales, Suzette de Borja, and Celestine Trinidad. So, kung hindi naitatanong, yung pinapakita nila sa screen kanina, or ngayon, pakita nyo ulit. Yan yung photo cards na kasama nung book nila na The Doctor is in Love. So, if you order a print copy from them sa romanceclassbooks.com, if you order a print copy, you will get one photo card. So, one photo card per book. So, kung gusto niyo makolekt na lahat, aba, kayo na bahala. kayo na bahala. Hello, everybody who's here.
Yes.
Ayla, hello. Jella, hello. Nina, and Kat, hello. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for being here. So, this afternoon, we're going to be talking about doctors and actually fictional doctors and healthcare workers. Ayan. So because these days marami tayong napapanood sa media na medical dramas or movies. So parang who better to di ba, to tell us if it's correct or not yung representation nila than our doctors, the doctors in the house. Ayan, the doctors in our Tambayan Kilig Cafe. Ayan. So, first of all, before we start, I would like you guys to introduce yourself. Well, we'll do para maiba naman reverse alphabetical order. So, we'll do Suzette, and then EK, and then Leslie, and then Angeli. So, please introduce yourself, and then also if you're tawag dito, comfortable, you can share your specialization, and then the books that you have written with medical workers or doctors as characters. So yeah, let's start with that.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'm Suzette de Borja, and my training I specialized in dermatology. I'm not actively practicing anymore, but yeah, so that's my training, and I think I've written 3 stories with with characters who are doctors. The first one was about a surgical resident. The next one, an ER resident, and the latest is about a OBGYN and a pediatric consultant. So thank you that you're here and that you joined us for today's Kilig Cafe.
Thanks a lot, Suzette. So we'll move on with EK.
Una, sorry po, nagpapako po immediately above me.
Okay.
I'm EK Gonzales. I've written several things, pero this is the first one for romance class, the Days of Rain and Flowers. My specialization is family medicine, and I'm at work. please pray that there's no work for habang nandito tayo nagchikahan. Thank you.
Thank you, EK. Okay, so next we'll go to Celestine or Leslie Trinidad.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us this chat. I'm Celestine Trinidad. My specialization is anatomic and clinical pathology. So, yun kami yung nagbabasa ng biopsies, do autopsies, etc. So, I've written a lot of stories before that feature medical doctors. So, yung first one that I wrote for romance class is Ghost of a Feeling. So, this is about a medical student. So, Chris. And other stories I wrote that had medical doctors in them. So the story for Make My Wish Come True, the romance class Christmas anthology, to medical students pa rin yun. And then this one for the doctor is in love. So this one features a medical oncologist and a radiation oncologist. And thank you for being here.
Thanks, Leslie. Now we move on to Angeli.
Hi
Angeli, nandito ka.
everyone. Hi everyone. I'm Angeli and I am currently still in training. So I am a resident in nuclear medicine. If it sounds foreign, I understand. Konti lang kami. And basically what you need to know is our field kind of deals with the diagnostic and therapeutic use of radioactive materials. So yon. Anyway, so the story I wrote for The Doctor is in Love is actually my first story featuring anything medical. So, first cut is about two new doctors competing for one neurosurgery's residency slot. Um, but somehow, while they're competing, the lines begin to blur and then they find it hard to decide which they want more, the residency or each other. So there, thank you for being here. We're excited.
Thanks, Angeli. Ayan. So now that we have introduced, actually, di pala ako introduce themselves. Hi! Hi, everybody. I keep forgetting this. Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah Frejas. I am a romance class author, but I am not a doctor. I do love watching medical dramas, though. So, this is an interesting topic for me. So, ayun. Before we move on, we'll just promote the book first. So, The Doctor is in Love is a four-story anthology. It's available on Amazon via kilig.com/Doctor in Love. If you're in the Philippines, you can order the book through romance-books.com. And you may find the book in other platforms, digital platforms, when you click on this link. And bookstoread.com/Doctor in Love. And so Katrina says, Evie says, today I learned what nuclear medicine is. We learn new things every day. Ayan. Okay, so we'll proceed first with our preset questions, and then if anyone in the audience, anybody in the chat watching right now has any questions for our doctors, let us know through the chat, and we'll get back to them later. Also, if you're watching the chat right now, please click on like. Please like the stream. Now, I said now na, go. And then if you're not yet subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. Tinatry namin baka 1,000 bago matapos yung taon. So, ayan. Okay, so we'll go first to the first question. Ayan. Question number 1. Do you like reading fiction or watching dramas that feature doctors or healthcare workers in general as main characters? Why or why not? Ayan. So, tawag dito. So, mag-alphabetical order na tayo para ikot lang tayong ganun. So, we'll start with Angeli, and then Celestine, EK, and then Suzette. Okay. Angeli, what's your answer?
For me, it kind of depends. Ano ba? Generally on my mood. Sometimes I do because parang it's a nice way of reminding it's a nice reminder parang of what great things our field can actually do. Tapos parang uh, dramas tend to dramas or fiction in general parang they tend to parang portray uh, triumphs of the world of medicine. Tas parang it makes you feel good. Our field is capable of so many things. But on the other side, parang sometimes ayoko rin because again, it's when you're reminded of the good things, sometimes you're also reminded of the not so nice things that can happen. And it can get painfully real at times. So parang uh, I read fiction o kaya I watch dramas to escape from reality at times, and then this is not escaping. Parang ganun yung nagiging feeling ko sometimes. So yun, it depends. Okay.
Thanks, Angeli. So, ayan. Leslie, ikaw naman.
So, ako, yun, actually, ganun din. Depende rin sa mood. Paminsan pag, if I want to make myself sad, sometimes I watch medical dramas. And then, but I have a very low, parang a narrow threshold for what I would like in a medical drama. Kasi either it's, ano, inaccurate and I don't I don't like it kasi it's inaccurate, or it's too accurate and and it triggers me because it reminds me of the more unpleasant things in the medical field. So also even actually seeing good things in medical dramas sometimes makes me feel sad because isip ko na ay, sana gano'n din. Sana gano'n din dito, ganyan. But I also enjoy some medical dramas depending on how they portray things. I happen to like forensic shows because at least there's a crime to focus on more than the actual life of being a doctor. And I also like shows that show the things about medicine that are less visible to other people. So yun yan. I like shows that are about little known specialties. So yung mga underdog specialties, I like that because I think it's educational for other people too. Parang yun nga, yung nuclear medicine. It would be great if we could have a series about nuclear medicine because not a lot of people know about it. So, yun. Yeah, yeah nga, it depends really. And also if doctors are portrayed as arrogant jerks, I don't like that because because it also triggers me because it because yeah, I feel like no, that's not hot. So yeah, so so it really depends on the portrayal. So yun nga, I'm very picky ako on the kinds of dramas that I can watch. And then, so that's all.
Ayan. Okay. So, EK naman.
Ayan, in the recent time, mas anime doctors yung napapanood ko. Probably for the same reasons sorry sa pagpako sa ni Angelina. At least it's disconnected a little from reality. Of the ones that I do watch, kuwari, I like Hospital Playlist because it was of what little I have watched so far. Sorry, because it's accurate to how we are without yung including yung buhay-buhay yun sa loob, yung sometimes the sometimes funny things na buhay-buhay namin yun. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, EK. Don't apologize. It's fine. Okay. Doc Suzette, ikaw naman.
I think the during the earlier years, during the early part of my training, I was actually enjoying medical shows kagaya nung ER. I think yun yung era ko, ER. So I was actually enjoying it kasi parang I was trying to see if I could yun yung parang diagnose din the cases they were featuring in the show. And then later on, I didn't like watching them anymore, especially when it became real. I mean, it was after med school, so during residency, I didn't want to be reminded of work. And then after that, I think also I don't know, nung after I became a mom, I don't know why I didn't like talaga watching medical shows. And then for this Kilig Cafe, so I tried watching I started Hospital Playlist, but I was immediately triggered. So there was a scene involving parang feeling ko, I don't know if this is how it is, but the culture of parang may hierarchy in that first episode, like a hierarchy na parang when you're an underling, when you're the junior, parang may ang laki ng ano ng hierarchy ng gap. And then but right now I'm actually enjoying The Good Doctor. Ewan ko kung culturally din it's the western na ano na parang the subordinates are not subordinate to their superiors. So yeah, so ngayon I'm enjoying The Good Doctor. But aside from The Good Doctor, I haven't watched any medical series in a long time. And also a book pala that I enjoyed them before. I can't recall now, but she's a forensic pathologist. Parang it was a crime procedural. I forgot na rin the name of the series. So anyway, yan.
I'm interested in that.
Thanks, thanks, Suzette.
Yeah.
Ayan, okay. May ano, may tawag dito, sabi ni Ayla, naka-pending daw sa kanya yung hospital. Try mo lang, Ayla.
Sinimulan ko na.
Try mo lang.
Bumigay na ako kahapon.
Nakita ko yung Twitter thread mo eh. Pero yun nga. Ayoko maging hospital playlist, live stream to. Pero sige. Try mo lang. Ayan. Okay, next question. Okay. Question number 2. What are some of the most common mistakes you see in medical fiction? So, ano yung mga napapansin nyo na parang laging ito yung interpretation on screen, but alam mo yon in real life, hindi naman talaga ganun. So, we'll start with Angeli again.
Ay, ano ba? Mahirap. Teka, we'll brush off on this naman kasi later. Pero siguro, procedures. Ewan ko. It makes you think kung meron talagang consultation done from a medical professional talaga when they do things. Like, mali yung lugar, mali yung indication ng paggamit. One example is lahat ng na-unconscious or parang even asystole or nag-flatline ay sinashock. Hindi dapat sinashock. It's not. So, yung mga ganong things. And also, siguro parang hindi ko, on one hand kasi parang as a creative myself, I understand na parang may room naman kasi, yes, there should be room for parang creative decisions. Parang, pero sometimes they take it too far. At dahil nga I'm in the field myself, so parang madaling makita na mali. So, some dramas tend to romanticize yung stuff that doctors do, and also parang napapansin ko rin na parang ang daming time ng ibang doctors to do a lot of things. Wala bang napapagod? Kasi ako personally, after a tour of duty, wala na akong ibang gusto gawin kung hindi matulog na lang at mag-ipon ng energy for my next duty day. So anyway, good for the doctors on TV na parang may time sila to do everything all at once.
Thanks, Angeli. Okay, Leslie naman. What about you?
Yun nga din actually yung sinabi ni Angeli ko sa yung lahat na lang ng patients na kailangan mong mag-CPR, i-defibrillate din nila. So yun, we'll touch on that later. I think na not all patients in shock need to be shocked in a sense. Tapos, yun, and ano rin, I think sometimes kasi nakikita ko sa mga medical dramas yung how some specialties are invisible. Parang yun nga, parang makikita mo yung mga sa mga TV shows na lahat, they do everything. Sila na yung nagbabasa ng x-rays, for example. Sila gumagawa nung CT scan, ganyan. But there are other people in the hospital who do that. There are radiologists. Tapos, yun nga, parang when they send a specimen to the laboratory, parang walang pathologist doon. So, and that is one thing that I see na that is, kasi parang ang feeling ko kasi bitter ako, ganyan. Na parang lagi na lang bida yung iba. Ibang specialties, ganyan. Pero, just, yun, so that is one common mistake that I see. Tapos, isa pa, I think, yun nga, yung mga unethical relationships, like doctor-patient, doctor, yan. So that's also, one common mistake na I know they're there for dramatic purposes, but sabi ko nga, pwede ka namang mag-create ng a good dramatic story while still being accurate. So, yan. That's my answer.
Thank you, Leslie. Okay, next, we'll go to EK.
Okay,
Yes, EK.
ayan. Explain ko lang to, yung lagi namin sinasabi about STEP, kasi may dala ko. Okay. Di ba yung...
Yes, Prof.
Ayan. Hindi, kasi di ba this is the usual step na nakikita nyo on TV na nakaganyan. Ayan. But this is a cheap step. I bought it kasi nga sira, bumigay na yung litman ko. Pero yung I realized immediately after I bought it na hindi ko siya magamit ng maayos. So when you see this kind of steps sa on TV, clearly may pumunta lang na taga art department or taga props department sa Bambang or sa Mercury bumili ng ganito. Pero real doctors will almost never use something like this. Ayun. Kasi nga siya, yung nakikita niyo sa yung nasa doktor talaga is heavy duty. At siya, mahal siya for a reason kasi heavy duty siya. They last for several years and heavy use. Yun talagang for a lot of patients for over several years. Yun. Tsaka made for comfort din. Yun.
Thank you, EK. Dapat may din, may visual aid tayo nung actual. Nung actual na Litman. Okay, next, we'll go to Suzette.
Actually, lahat ng sinabi nila. but but I think yung ano ba? Yung siguro I don't know, may comment, diba? Kasi nga yung may time after tour of duty, yung mga ganon, yung parang ang gaganda pa din nila. kahit na yung toxic nila, yung ganun. So, yeah, yun lang, the same as them. The same as what they said.
Okay, thanks, Doc Suzette. Ayan. Hello, Jay. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for hanging out with us. Oh, EK got disconnected. Anyway. Kat says, naalala ko yung namili kapatid ko ng supplies, iyak ang wallet.
Ayo.
Sabi nga nila, kaya pag yung mga, di ba, parang usually when people say, oh, yung anak ko mag-medicine, parang people will say, oh, maghanda ka na ng pera kasi it's really expensive to pursue the profession. Hi, EK, welcome back. Ayan. Okay. So next question. What would you like to see more of in medical fiction? So this covers pati books if you want. Like kasi you might have read also medical fiction books. Tapos it also covers dramas, movies, ganyan. So what would you like to see more of? Nuclear medicine.
Yes.
And pathology, ganyan.
Ayan, let's go to Angeli first. Yeah.
Actually, sasagot ko. Spotlight more on the allied medical specialties and professions. I mean, I get it naman. The clinical specialties look good on screen, ganon. But sana, as Doc Leslie said, they don't act as if we're invisible. And our jobs are negligible. Ganun. Kasi healthcare is team-based naman siya. So everyone has an important part to play in taking care of patients. Hindi lang uh, hindi lang the surgeons all the time. Parang ganon. So maybe we can do something about it. Ayun. Makita ko naman ang aking specialty. Portrayed in media. Yes.
Um,
Thank you,
ako,
Angeli. Leslie, ikaw naman.
me, ako, I would like more hot and nice doctors. Kasi nga parang di ba yung usual, yun yung usual na parang stereotype of a hot doctor, yung arrogant, who's a playboy, ganyan, and but then will become nice for the MC, ganyan. But I would like to see more of yung mga cinnamon roll doctors who are hot. So, yun, kasi, yun nga, we see a lot of, of the toxic hierarchy in real life, especially here siguro being an Asian country. So, it would be nice to have more of the nicer doctors. So, in medical fiction. So that would be one thing I would like to see more of in medical fiction. And another thing that I would like to see more of would be doctors doing non-doctory things. So, but realistically, kasi in response to what Angeli was saying earlier, that they seem to have a lot of time to do a lot of things. Actually, you can squeeze doing non-doctor things in between, in between work, but you have to manage your time. So it has to be a realistic view. Like, parang you can't, nyari kung parang I think sa hospital playlist, they do have a band. You can actually do that, pero you can't do that every day. Kasi nga, you would have patients, you'd be tired, ganyan. But I still want to see more of that, more of a realistic portrayal of doctors having other lives. So,
Thanks, Leslie. EK, how about you?
Kailan nagdi-drill sa ibabaw ko. um, wait lang. Ang isa, di ba, at least nakita ko doon sa mga pinapanood na merong Doctor to the Barrio kind of kwento. Sana mukhang, since I don't remember it, mukhang hindi siya nag-ratings, 'di ba, sa atin. So hopefully mga more stories like that compared to hospital stories, kasi East and West puro hospital stories madalas eh. So pero sa Pilipinas, mas relevant yung grassroots na kwento, yung ginawa nga yung Doc Ricky Pedia na yung sa barangay, tsaka yung sa Doctor to the Barrios, yung liblib na doktor, yung and kahit ano man ang dumating, na klaseng kaso. Yun. So sana may ganon na sana tangkilikan at mag-ratings. Yun. And done right para mag-ratings. Yun. Thank you.
Ayun. Thanks, EK. Suzette. Let's go to Suzette. Yeah.
Actually, wala akong maisip. Parang, I think, ano ba, a doctor na, parang gusto ko na may, parang with paranormal, urban fantasy,
Wow.
related na the protagonist is a doctor. So, okay. Sulat na yan.
Sulat na lang.
Sulat na. Yeah, tapos parang gano'n na it's science-based, but
Oh my gosh.
it's medical, but you get to play with parang with the medical na stuff, but there's also ngayon parang paranormal.
Isusulat na ni Leslie yan.
Dr. Fix Balang.
may nag-volunteer. May volunteer si Leslie.
May
Ano
naalala
daw,
akong K-drama na gano'n. Di ba meron? Vampire siya,
Yun?
tapos tumatakas
yes,
siya
blood.
ng blood. Yes, tumatakas siya
Blood.
ng blood galing sa blood bath.
I
talaga?
haven't watched it, but I remember na,
Moonlight?
oo nga, doctor.
Ata yung title? Or something,
Blood yung title.
Blood, blood yung
yeah.
title ng K-drama. Yan.
Okay,
O,
okay.
pero Philippine setting.
Aya.
So,
Kaya nga
So,
tikbalang na
manananggal.
doktor ganyan.
Tikbal!
Tikbalang, oo.
manananggal.
Yan. Hello, Sir Paolo. Welcome to the stream. Yan. Tapos, may sinasabi si Jay, i-volunteer lang namin din si Father Andres at si June as hot doctors na night.
Ay,
Hot din actually si June 1, cardiologist from Hospital Kilig. Kaso lang medyo rough around the edges siya. Meron siyang nasungitan factor, parang sundere, ganyan. Pero fit din naman siya. It's also nice.
Ano specialty niya? Ano specialty niya, Tara? Yung sabi mo?
Cardio surgeon, CS.
CCBS.
CCBS.
So, surgeon pa rin. Surgeon pa rin siya.
Lahat kasi
Surgeon
mag-iba.
sila lahat.
Lima silang surgeon doon. So, general surgery na specialization is transplant, liver
Lahat
transplant.
sila.
Oo, merong cardio, may OB, may pedia, saka neuro. So,
Ayun, Pedia yung gusto ko doon.
This one's a terrible software.
Yes, Father
Sino
Andrea.
Pedia doon?
Kasi Father Andrea, yan. Siya yung lahat ng tao nagdarasal na meron silang Andrea sa buhay nila. Anyway, ayan, okay. So, we're done with the preset questions. May nakita akong question dito from Tanya kanina. Ayan. So, ito, anong sagot niyo dito? Question, which medical specialty or field do you think is the sexiest? Ayan.
Define. Define.
Hindi, kayo mag-define ng sexy for you. I mean, di ba? Iba-iba naman.
Sexy
iba-iba
isn't
naman
in
ang
the
natin.
specialization, it's in the person.
Ayun.
Oh! Sino may sagot? Ayun na yung sagot ni EK. Does anyone have an answer for this?
Sige, sasagot ako.
Sige.
Angeli first.
Sige,
Ako
Angeli.
parang the specialties that kind of deal with kids. I don't know. Parang attractive kasi talaga sa akin yung guys na parang good with dealing with kids. Kaya medyo hindi ko nahirapan mamili ng bias sa hospital playlist. Medyo pre-made na pala for me. So, okay. Thank you, Father Andrea. Sige.
Tapos drummer pa siya, di ba?
Tapos drummer pa siya. Okay. So, dalawa na check na. Okay, sige. Pogi pa, okay. And then he's rich, okay.
lahat na lang sa kanya.
Yes.
Okay. Next. Leslie. Do you have an answer?
Pathology. Yes.
Yon.
Represent.
Raise your flag. The pathology department.
Siguro pa rin, kahit na kasi they can be, feeling ko, kaya it is sexy to me ang surgery, especially general surgery. Ganyan. Kasi, pero may qualifier, dapat yung not the stereotypical general surgeon. I feel that is sexy to me kasi yung going against the stereotype. So, yeah, yan pa rin. I think, yeah. That's my safe answer.
Yan. Okay. Suzette naman.
Yung specialty na yung specialty that requires you to be good with your hands.
Ay! Dr. Det!
Wait, I will explain myself.
Go.
Hindi kasi I have a thing with fine motor, any activity that requires fine motor movements. hindi kasi I will explain because of a childhood ano ba to incident. Parang growing up, I was labeled as clumsy. No, I was labeled as clumsy and I had parang I don't know how to put it yung parang sinasabihan ako mabigat ang kamay ko. So, parang clumsy nga and rough yung kamay ko. So, parang anyone, even not naman in surgery, even not in medicine, kasi any person na, any work that requires parang, Tanya, nabasa ko yung comment. Any work
PPOT,
that
ganyan.
requires fine motor movements yon. And usually, syempre sa medicine, that's the field of surgery. So, yung mga consultants na I had a crush on before, I had a crush on their hands.
Hmm.
So, parang pag nagli-lecture sila noon
Kamay
and they
lang
were
daw.
surgeons, yeah, I was looking at their hands kasi parang wow, parang ganon. So, parang for me, it was fascinating na yung you're good with your hands, it's steady in the operative field. So, yon. So to me, anything na may any surgical na field. Also, syempre, hindi toxic hindi toxic yung doctor. So, yon. Okay.
Correct, correct. Sabi ni Jay, very specific crush on hands. It ha Oo, it happens. Ay,
It
meron pa,
happens. Yes.
may ganun talaga, no? Parang, hindi
It
lang
have.
sa medical field. Kasi minsan parang, for example, me personally, because I like music, pag
Mm.
nakikita ko yung kamay na tumutugtog ng instrument, di ba? Iba rin yung effect eh. Parang, wow, okay. Crush ko yung
Yes.
kamay mo, ganyan. Ayan, okay. So we're done with the questions. So if anyone else in the chat has questions, we'll get to them later. But we'll move on to the next segment of this live stream, which is real MDs react to fictional MDs. Yan, yay! So, explain ko lang muna ha. Kasi usually, when we see reaction videos, you will see talagang the videos of the thing that they're reacting to. Like, for example, trailers or movies or scenes, ganyan. Um, Unfortunately, we've tried doing that before in a personal stream of mine. Nakat kami kasi copyrighted yung content. And ayoko naman na makat tayo dito if we show something na copyrighted content. So what we're gonna do is we'll just show screen caps of the videos that our doctors have recommended, and then they'll provide context about the scene. And then later on, after the stream, we will be compiling them in a Twitter thread that you can para mapanood nyo rin yung actual scenes on your own time. Yan. Also, ay kailangan ko pala itong i-flash. Oo, yan, teka lang.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this live stream comments on fictional medical personnel in media. We do not intend to disparage any real doctors nor the medical profession. So, ayan. May disclaimer lang para malinaw. Ayan. Bridge! Bridge, wala pa half 4.
Ala!
Yes,
Aga
Jay,
pa.
yes. Yes. Oh. Okay. Okay. So wait, ano yung banners ko? We'll start with this drama. Okay, so this this drama is not a medical it's not a medical drama, but it has a scene in the hospital na medyo actually alam ko naging meme to eh. Naging meme to for a while when it came out. So this is a show called Kambal Karibal. Yan.
Ah.
Ayan siya. So actually I don't know if can somebody provide a context for this scene?
Yung context nito, I think na si Carmina Villarreal yung she's the one being revived there, and she had a car accident. Tapos yun, the nurse was trying to revive her. And doing a very bad job of it.
Correct. Okay. Alam kasi actually mas medyo funny to kapag napanood mo yung video kasi sobrang it's very yung pagkakagawa ng chest compression sobrang low energy. Yung
Parang ganun lang yung...
it's like you don't want the actual patient to live eh. Parang ganun yung dating. So, sige. So, parang, paano ba? Talagang, parang sample, paano ba dapat? I mean, if you can explain it in, in words, di ba? Parang, paano ba dapat yung proper yung proper na paggawa ng yung CPR. Kasi ako natuto ko sa The Office.
Mas accurate pa yung sa The Office.
Parang ganun, di ba? Parang yung staying alive yung may episode na may staying alive that they were being taught about how to resuscitate somebody. Parang feeling ko that was more accurate than this one. Okay. Ang next scene natin is from the same show. Okay, so trigger warning lang kasi we're gonna show somebody who's being, I think, intubated or something. So, alam ko naging meme din to eh. Yan. Okay, so I don't know what it's called. I don't know what the apparatus should be called.
It's a mechanical, yung tubing siya for mechanical ventilator. Yeah. Pero parang dyan kasi para siyang nagmukhang yung sa parang tubing sa washing machine.
Washing machine.
Ayan na nga, sabi nga ni Jella, yung tubo ng washing machine. Ay, nako. So, parang, just to provide the actual, yung parang visual, kasi nag-provide ang mga doctor natin ng actual visual nito. Ito siya dapat. Yan. Okay, so yes, textbook.
Textbook
It's an educational show. It's an educational stream. Diba?
Educational stream.
Diba? Kahit nag-chat lang tayo, diba? We're trying to educate people. So, yan yung tsura niya dapat. Actually, sabi ni EK kanina while we were preparing, if you watch hospital playlist, yung mga ICU patients doon, they portray naman daw accurately how the setup is. So, ayoko na mag-recommend. parang laging yun na lang yung
dapat muna po.
Oh my God.
Rich, no! Ayoko na.
Bridge.
Bridge, paket ka nga rito. Sama ka na dito. Meron tayong guest, co-host, ganyan. Ayan, okay. So, ang next natin na show.
Sige, before yung CPR para para educational din tayo. Dapat kasi yun nga, tama yung staying alive kasi parang yung dapat yung saying is push hard and push fast. So, 100 compressions per minute. Tatawa si Suzette. Wala akong ibig sabihin doon.
I know exactly where her brain went.
Doc Suzette!
Yung tawa niya bigla kasi.
Pag si Doc Leslie nagsalita, wala namang
May sakit ako. May sakit ako kaya ako ganito.
May sakit mo.
Ganun ba talaga? Yung ba talaga yung rason?
Gabi nga dapat yung stream na to, Diyos ko.
Dapat, hindi ko naman alam. Dapat pala 7 o'clock tayo nag-air.
May yung disclaimer natin dapat
PG-13 pala.
Striktong patungan. So hard. Very hard.
Okay.
And very deep.
Oh my God. Okay. So, puputuloy na natin itong stream na to. Mag-worship po tayo ng mga 8 o'clock. Joke lang.
We are professionals here.
Yeah, we're
You're
professionals
professional.
here. Okay, the show must go on. Naiiyak na ako.
Ah,
Oh my God.
dagdag ko lang po, SPG aside. Remind ko lang po na hindi in all seriousness po, requirement sa workplaces po tsaka sa schools po na at least one person nakakaalam ng basic CPR. Meron po niyan sa Red Cross po. Pwede po mag-inquire. Kasi seryoso kami, dapat po may nakakaalam niyan at the layman level. Laking tulong siya lalo na tinatraffic ang mga ambulansya. Yun po. So at least may fighting chance yung person na nare-revive habang inaantay na dumating yung professionals. Yan. So yan. So,
Ano,
tama yung
yung
yan, thank you.
bystander CPR, parang kaya tinuturo yun. Para if you're in an emergency, even if you're non-medical, pwede ka maka-revive ng person. So, yeah. So remember, push hard and push fast. 100 compressions per minute, tapos up to a depth of 5 cm. 2 inches.
Siguro
Oh,
naman may mga
Ganun
sample sa
ka.
YouTube niyan. Oo, kung ano yung tama.
may ano pala
Tapos
talaga,
mali rin yung
may,
placement. Dapat sa center ng chest. Yun yung,
so hindi
yeah.
lang sa left side kung saan yung heart, dapat nasa gitna.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't be
Actually, the
afraid
heart,
to break
yun
lips,
din eh.
Char.
The heart is not actually on the left side. Dun lang kasi yung apex, what we call the apex beat, where it's, you listen to it the loudest, then sa left side. Pero actually, the heart is in the center.
Oh, okay. Okay. Ayan,
Yes.
sabi
Ayan.
ni Kat, sa office namin, parang one person must know first aid for every X number of employees. Nice.
That's
That's a nice
good.
practice.
True. Yeah,
Yan.
that's a
Sabi
good
ni Nina, so
practice.
educational. Oh, see, we're an
Yes.
educational stream.
Kahit na mamamove na tayo to a late night.
we're, we're having fun and learning at the same time. Yes. Ayan, okay, fine. Move on tayo sa next show. So, ang next show natin is another GMA7 show. It's called Sa Puso ni Doc. Who's gonna provide context for this? The first, kasi the first image is from the trailer. So, ito siya.
So,
Yan.
sa puso ni Doc is about si Bella Padilla kasi she's a resident in a government hospital. Tapos yun. So yung setting niyan would be in a hospital outside of Manila. So kaya what we see there is actually pretty accurate. So that's what you will see in a government hospital. Sobrang daming patients, tapos konti lang din yung doctors and nurses in the hospital. So, and this is a very nice quote, yung kaya nga hindi tayo makapagtrabaho ng maayos dahil kakaunti lang tayo. So, totoo yun, kakaunti lang talaga mga nurse and kulang ang doktor, lalo na sa outside of Manila.
Actually,
Yes.
connected to this, parang ang comment nila nowadays ay may disparity between yung distribution ng healthcare personnel around the country. Parang nakacenter ang personnel around urban areas. So, yung mga far-flung areas like the one portrayed dito sa drama na to, kulang talaga yung tao. Kaya ganyan. So many patients, no one to service them. So sad.
Okay. We have another screen cap here. Meron na naman tayong medyo failed CPR scene dito.
Lagi.
And medyo close up siya yung yung
Si Bella Padilla here, may nire-revive nga siya na patient. Tapos si mali nga yung placement. Ay, nasa taas siya. Ang matatamaan niya lang dyan ay ribs. Maybe. So, buto. Tapos, pero yung context nito is, yung patient na nire-revive niya. Tapos, humingi siya ng mga materials dun sa nurse na kausap niya. Actually, humingi siya ng defibrillator na hindi niya hindi mo actually kailangan ng defibrillator kasi wala nga man lang siyang ECG. So hindi niya malalaman kung yung rhythm ng heart ng patient is shockable or not. Pero ang sad dun sa episode, humingi rin siya ng oxygen or basta ng mech vent ata. Tapos wala rin mabigay dun sa patient kasi ubos na daw, wala nang supply. So namatay yung patient. Sorry, on her watch, and after nun lumabas siya, and syempre umiyak siya kasi nga she lost her patient. That is the context.
Yun. Sorry. Sad lang kasi yun nga, when you say it's accurate na, kasi you told me yesterday na it's accurate na parang the local hospitals don't have these kinds of equipment at the ready. Tapos, alam mo yun, parang kawawa talaga. Walang fighting chance yung mga pasyente. Anyway. Yeah. So, okay. May next pa tayo kay okay. Sorry. Go.
Ay, sorry. Hindi, yun yan. Actually, it's accurate not just outside of not just outside of Metro Manila. I've had rotations before in government hospitals here na kulang din yung kulang din yung equipment. So, kung sa sentro pa nga lang, kulang na. What more din sa other places. So, yeah.
Kulang talaga. Ayun. So, ako, ang training ko government talaga. So, ganyan talaga yung life namin. And more often than not, yung personnel who are there, you make do with what is there talaga. Like, na-experience ko na rin na, kanwari not available for trauma patients yung neck brace. You use cartons. Kasi yun lang yung meron ka eh. So, makeshift na lang na neck brace for those trauma patients kasi kaysa wala, di ba? We make do. Yeah, and then hindi rin uncommon for doctors and also even students, medical students na sila na ang gagastos sometimes para lang makapag-provide dun sa patient kasi kulang talaga supply.
Okay. Mag-provide ng medicine? Medicine ba yan?
Yes,
or
yes.
supply?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Medicine, labs, this and that. Oo.
Yeah.
Or merong isang what we do is shopping sa wards. Yung pupunta ka sa mga wards, lalo na sa yung mga private, yung kasi 'di ba in a hospital may charity, may pay patients ganyan. Tapos kung sa wards, yung sa pay patient, may mga sobrang gamot ganyan. Tapos hingin mo yung gamot na yun for the charity patient. So that's also something that we do to provide for patients. Kasi nga, wala.
Okay. So, we have a next...
Bigla ng phone natin.
Oo nga eh.
Sorry. Okay. Bigla naging...
Kaya tumatawa pa tayo. Anyway,
Kaya,
the next screen cap is same series. Siya, emotional din, ganyan. So, ito si Doc. Actually, according to the video description, girlfriend niya to na expire sa hospital. So, yun. What can you say about this scene?
This scene kasi, parang girlfriend niya yung namatay. So, there are times when, when it's already somebody that you know, you're no longer a doctor. And you're just a human being in these moments. I can say.
Siguro twice as hard siguro for the doctor experiencing this, na parang loved one mo na yung naging patient. Kasi you kind of understand what's happening, tapos you're still powerless kahit with your knowledge and your skill. Parang you weren't able to do anything about it. So parang doble yung grief mo. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so my yung last natin na visual for sa Puso ni Doc is this one. So, can anyone provide the context?
So, yung context nito, si Dennis Trillo, was visiting yung anak nung girlfriend niya actually na namatay. Na merong super rare na syndrome like congenital hypoventilation syndrome. Sorry, nung narinig kayo, lagi na lang sa mga medical shows, laging yung mga sakit ng mga tao, laging super rare na. Yung mga tipong 1 in 1 million na pang case report. And hindi ko alam kung bakit. Parang I think meron din sa isang musical ba yun na gliosarcoma naman yung
Wow.
disease. Yun, it's something I noticed. Lagi na lang rare yung diseases ng mga tao. and ewan ko, paminsan kasi yung mga these super rare diseases, kahit na cool sila pakinggan, when it comes to yung ethnicities, you won't see them in Asians, ganyan, or you won't actually see them in the country, ganyan. So yeah, parang natatawa lang ako when you hear that.
Daming ganun sa house, di ba? Like, house MD. The very rare mga diseases, usually, yun yung parang tinitake on nila every episode. Also, di ba? Ano ba napanood ko na may super mga rare? I haven't really watched Grey's Anatomy, pero parang I have seen mga clips na medyo ganun din yung mga cases nila, medyo rare rare cases ng mga pasyente. Yan. So, ang next, sabi ni Kat, tapos miracle na maku-cure.
Yes.
Oo.
Like, makaka-invent ka agad ng cure. Ang galing.
Biglang, may drug na may clinical trial. Clinical trial pa lang to. Mapagaling na. Ganyan. Yun.
Oh my gosh.
So fast.
Okay. Kaya nga fiction, di ba? Anyway, okay. So ang next show natin is an ABS-CBN show. It's ang description sa kanya is a sitcom commentary kasi ano to parang hybrid show siya. It's called Doc Wikipedia. So ang setup niya is parang may mga eksena na played out by actors, and then during the show there's an actual doctor, may parang video of an actual doctor explaining certain medical things, no? Like a condition, or parang ano yung mga kailangan gawin if ganito, alam mo yun. So um ito yung pina-highlight niya sa akin. Yan. Yan yung pina-highlight niya sa akin na eksena. So, please provide context.
This kasi pina-highlight namin this scene kasi natuwa lang ako sa how accurate it is. So, yung episode na yan is about iodine deficiency. And yung iodine deficiency is connected to thyroid. So, diseases ng thyroid. So, yung scene na yan, yung si Doc Ricky is palpating for the thyroid. So, ganyan talaga yan. You stand behind the patient tapos saka mo kakapain yung for the thyroid. So, parang nakatuwa lang na, okay, tama. Tama for once yung pinapanood namin.
Hindi ba stand double na doktor, actual doctor yun?
Ay, pwede
Si
siguro.
Dominic ata talaga yun.
Baka si Dominic na, yucks close, si Dominic.
Yes.
Wait lang, may nakita akong comment sa chat, hindi ko kinaya. We were talking about rare diseases. Pero pag si Susan Africa, hindi nyo mapagaling. Ganyan.
Bridge!
Bridge, ibibigay ko sa'yo yung StreamYard link. Akyat ka na, dali. And then Tanya says, to be fair, that's how it's actually, oo. Yun nga yung,
Actually,
yun nga yung specialization niya. Parang, kaya sa
Although
kanya
walang
pumupunta
ganun
kapag
talagang
rare.
specialty. Anyway.
Wala ba talaga?
We'd like to clarify na walang actual na specialization na diagnostic medicine. Yun. Kaya siya, completely fictional siya. Oo. Walang actual na department, walang actual na specialization na diagnostic medicine. Yun.
Siguro ang
Oh my
closest na to
God,
that
I have been
would be
lied to. I have been bamboozled. I actually thought there was something like that na, alam mo yun, na specialization, or like, there are doctors who really do that. So, caliber
Wala.
tayo eh. Si Brit, bakit
Hindi,
hindi
hindi.
dito yung pangalan?
More like sinecentralize kay House kasi yung kwento, pero the work na ginagawa ni House at nung department niya is distributed between pathology, radiology,
Radiology.
um yung mga nagbabiopsy, tsaka yung nagtitreat, yun. So several specializations yun, yung in real life na
Okay.
mag-aasikaso nun.
So,
If it's
para
really
siyang ginawang
complicated, magko-conference sila at some point in para mag-isip-isip ng
Mm-mm.
together kung anong gagawin, yun.
okay. So, para siyang ginawang one-stop shop. Siya lang yung
Parang ganun.
Ayan, di ba? Today we learned. Today we learned. Ayan.
Ayun. Makes you wonder, no? Yung
Bridge, I had to go.
specialty na puro differentials lang ang aatupagin.
Actually, i-google ko nga.
Susan Africa kasi is, di ba, she's an actress. Tapos usually, sa mga drama or movies, she usually plays the mom na may sakit, tapos namamatay. Or the lola na may sakit, tapos
Oo
namamatay.
nga.
So, alam mo yun, parang yung point ni Bridge is parang, bakit siya hindi yung mapagaling? Ganyan, lagi siya nag-guess, ganyan. We have another, for Doc Wikipedia. And it's about, doctors and priorities, yan. Kasi dito sa scene na to, ano nga to, sino nga magpo-provide ng context nito?
Meron siyang anak niya, nakalimutan ko yung actor. Yung anak niya, parang may recognition na ceremony na, nagka-honors ata kasi siya sa class. Tapos, kailangan siya, in-invite yung parents na sila kasi yung magsasabit ng medal. Pero, on the same day, kasi may patient si Doc Ricky na manganganak with a very pregnant ano, yun, so na manganganak on that day. Parang nag-promise kasi siya na para pumunta yung mommy sa hospital, nandun siya habang nanganganak yung mother. So, kaya ayun, nagkaroon ng conflict kasi he has to choose between yung graduation ceremony ng anak niya or yung patient niya who he gave a promise to. So, it's a very real problem, especially I think with doctors who have their own family and even not. We miss a lot of family gatherings kasi biglang may pasyente na hindi mo na mamaiwan, ganyan. So, and it's about priorities in the medical field.
Okay. If anybody wants to add to that, or we'll move on to the next, the next show. Sige,
Um,
Dr.
Actually, in my story, sa The Doctor is in Love, parang that's a point nga with the MC kasi she's an OBGYN. So, and it's actually based on my parang exposure nung when I was an intern and I was rotating in the OBGYN department. And all the OBs na who are the more senior ones and parang those who have established practices na, parang they're the ones who have a lot of patients and paminsan in the delivery room, tatlo-tatlong tatlo-tatlong patients in labor sa kanila. Parang naisip ko,
Wow.
parang I was thinking then na parang umuwi pa ba sila? Because the more established you are, especially sa OBGYN, di ba? Parang the more established you are or as a doctor, the more patients you have. So, yun. So, I was already thinking about it kasi I also met an OBGYN ano na siya doon, resident, no, senior, and she was married to another doctor in another surgical field parang specialty. So yun nga, they would take two cars whenever they go out. If they watch a movie, they would take two cars kasi they're with their family.
Ah,
So pag may call, no, yung the other one has to leave, naiiwan yung isa with the kids.
mm,
So yun. So that was part of parang my
logistics. May logistics na
Oh,
silang in place.
yeah. Yeah. So it's real.
Yes. Add ko lang, sa hospital release, ang dami nito. Although wala naman talagang, wala talaga silang, I mean, one of them has a child, pero humorously portrayed, like, for example, they're playing with the band, they're having a band rehearsal, and then in the middle of a song, mawawala yung pianista kasi meron siyang papaanakin, tapos mawawala yung guitarista kasi meron siyang surgery na emergency. So, it happens in different episodes na may nawawalang isa habang nagpa-practice or kumakain or magbabakasyon dapat pero hindi natuloy, ganyan. So, yun nga. Anyway, priorities.
Oo, yun. Speaking of yun nga, yung mga gigs, kasi may experience ako singing din during residency. Tapos paminsan pag may gig kami na kakanta sa parang yearly na concert kasi yung surgery na the department namin called Surge Live. Tapos yun, paminsan kumakanta kami doon. Pero for some reason, kung kailan meron kaming kanta, doon ako biglang may autopsy referral or merong referral. So parang nananadya palagi. So, tapos ganun din yung mga ibang kasama namin. Parang biglangang merong patient na sila na dumating na kailangan ng emergency surgery. So, it
Ay,
happens.
ayaw na kayo pakantahin. Ayaw kayo pakantahin.
Ay, ayaw niyo ba kami?
Ay, likely band ba yan? Band?
Yeah.
Ano name ng band nyo? Ang
Drop the
medical.
Makikinig
name.
sila. Hindi ako talaga member ng band. Nakikikanta lang ako. Pero Happy Hector. Hanapin niyo sila there.
Yeah.
Meron yata
Nagda-drum
silang
lang siya.
virtual.
page. Na ako guess.
Ayan. Okay. So we'll move on to the next show. This is from Grey's Anatomy. Who's gonna do the context to the scene?
Sige, ako, sige.
So this is Grey's Anatomy.
This episode is dun sa first season pa. So, the characters are all interns. So, ayan. Easy is complaining na nagsusuture nga lang daw siya all day. And then Karev doesn't feel like he's practicing medicine with the things he's doing. Ayan. So, parang, this is actually accurate. Kasi, when you're an intern, or kind of parang student, or at least first year in your training, bottom of the ladder ka kasi talaga eh. So, so the things you do, usually, ano lang yan, scat work, fetch things, paperwork, ganun lang. Sometimes you feel like talaga, yung work mo, it doesn't constitute parang what it means to be a doctor. Kasi parang, I did not go to medical school to do paperwork. Parang ganun yung feeling sometimes.
Maybe we can say a few things about yung progression ng training.
Ah,
Do you like to, kasi, to make
Sige,
it
go ahead.
clear
sige.
lang, pag yung medical school, that's 4 years. Yung clerk, yun yung fourth year of medical school where you rotate around all the different departments in the hospital. Tapos, when you graduate ng fourth year medicine, you already have the MD, yung MD na degree. But you're still not licensed, so you still have to take 1 year of internship. Parang on-the-job training siya where you again, dito sa Philippines, you again rotate through all of the departments. So, yun, kaya nga parang puro scut work yun tawag or puro mga taga-gawa ka lang ng census or nag-rounds ka rin naman, nagmo-monitor pero yung final na talagang nagma-manage dun sa patient, yung residents pa rin. So, yun. Tapos after yung 1 year na internship, you take the board exams. And then, so you will be a licensed physician na. Then after, you take subspecialty training, which is yung what we call residency. Or you can opt not to go into residency and go into other, pwede kang municipal health officer, ganyan, pwede kang mag-go into medical research, yun, yung mga tapos yung subspecialty training pa pala, sorry, is fellowship. That's so sobrang daming years of training. Yeah, kaya tatanda ka talaga sa medicine. Yun yung
Never-ending
ayun,
learning.
and EK has to
Go,
add
Ike,
something.
go.
Ano,
You muted yourself, Ike. Wait lang. Ike, naka-mute ka.
yan, sa hospital playlist, yung naririnig yung mga professor, yun yung consultants ang tawag na namin yun. Yung talagang doctors na natapos na yun, yung diplomate and fellowship, yun. Yun yung yun yung tawag sa atin sa Pilipinas and sa US. Yan. Tapos yung the ones sa hospital playlist na medyo mahaba-haba yung code pero over a scrub suit, sila yung mga resident or fellows depending on what their what level they are. Yan.
I heard something interesting kahapon when we were having the meeting for this. Yung coat sleeve, yung length ng sleeve, parang it depends on what level you are in. Ang tawag yun. Sorry, can you explain that? Kasi hindi ko rin alam yun eh. Like, yun nga
Yes.
sabi ko, parang before, when I see like, di ba, may scrubs, tapos may coat, ganyan.
Mm-mm.
So, may short sleeve, may long sleeve. Ang iniisip ko, it's because weather lang ang difference. So, lang, pag nainitan ka, di ba long sleeves, pag namalalabihan ka, mag long sleeves ka. Pag hindi, this apparently meron palang difference between, those,
Yeah.
can somebody explain, yeah.
Ano ba? At least dito sa Philippines, I'm not sure how it is sa ibang country kasi nga, ayun, when I was watching Hospital Playlist din, parang baliktad yung coat situation nila. Anyway, yung mga higher ups, sila yung naka-short coat. Pero anyway, dito sa Philippines, your coat grows longer as you progress in your career. So if you're an intern, short sleeves. If you're doctor in training, so resident or fellow, long sleeves pero maikli pa rin yung coat. Tapos when you're a consultant already, tsaka ka palang may karapatan mag long coat. You have to earn the right to wear the long coat.
Standard ba yan dito sa atin? Like, standard siya all over. Like, it's not just one hospital or one
Ganun talaga siya.
standard siya.
Standard siya, I think, sa buong
There are
Pilipinas.
variations. There are some variations per hospital and per institution yan. Pero yun yung general rules na pag the higher you are in the hierarchy, the longer the coat. Yan.
Tuwa yung kasi talagang ngayon ka lang nalaman yan na may ganun palang Pag nakakita na ako ngayon ng doktor na medyo maikli yung na maikli yung sleeve niya, resident pa lang yun, ganun.
Yeah,
Yun ba
parang
yun?
Parang gano'n, no?
Okay.
O nga pala. So
next,
yung
yes.
main nga pala. So yung main 5 people na nakikita niyo sa hospital playlist, yung mga magkakaibigan na in a band sa Pilipinas, roughly junior consultant pa sila, 'di ba? Meron pa mga medyo mas matatanda pa silang mga
Yes.
kasama 'di ba? So ano sila, kaya technically dito sa atin junior consultants pa sila. Yung medyo tapos na ng fellowship, tapos na ng training, medyo kilala na sila pero still not as old as the others, yun. So yun yung nila. Yun yung rank nila sa hospital. Yun.
Okay. Ayan, na-bring up na yung noodles. Pinag-usapan natin to kagabi. I mean, hindi siya kasama dun sa mga scenes natin, but can somebody explain this phenomenon?
Lol. It's a Filipino thing.
Oo, na pag kumain ka ng kahit anong noodles, pansit, spaghetti, ganyan, matotoxic ka daw. Toxic meaning, dadami yung patients mo or may masamang mangyayari, ganyan. Tapos yun parang totoo naman. Parang nangyayari nga talaga.
Yung sabi ng seniors ko about it, kung bakit daw. Kasi noodles tsaka pansit, so mahaba. mahaba daw. So, pag kumain ka daw niyan, hahaba daw yung araw mo. Hindi ka makakauwi. So, bahala.
Tapos ang
Actually, that,
pangontra naman dyan,
Ice
ice
ano
cream.
cream.
pa?
Ano? Ice
Ice
cream ang
cream.
Ice
pangontra.
cream.
Yes.
Oo.
Ayun.
Ayan, tama si Ayla, ice
Oo,
cream.
Yes.
tama si Ayla.
I mentioned this sa first cut. Yeah.
So pag kumain ka ng pancit or or yung spaghetti, mag-ice cream ka na agad. Para,
Pwede,
for dessert.
Mag-cancel out.
oo, para
Para
mag-cancel
ano.
out.
Or pwede bang kunwari kumain ka ng noodles, pwede mo bang gupitin yung noodles? Para umikli siya, ganyan.
Oo nga, no?
Hindi. Ayoko i-try.
Wag nang i-risk.
Hi Ben, welcome to the stream.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi,
Ayan,
Ben.
yung tinanong ko to kahapon sa inyo kasi sabi ko nga, sa Korea, yung sa mga medical dramas na napanood ko, okay lang silang kumain ng noodles within the shift. So parang ako, I feel like it's a Filipino thing, no? Parang ganun. Kasi sa kanila, carry lang na yun yung kinakain ng mga nurse, ng mga doctor, parang in between, like, mga procedure and stuff, ganyan. Kasi nga, mabilis. I mean, parang, di ba, wala mait na tubig. Tapos, ayun. So, nalaman ko lang actually itong thing na to about noodles nung last year. Kasi parang somebody donated spaghetti sa hospital. Tapos parang nagagalit yung mga tao. Sabi ko, bakit? Meron palang ganon. So, may ganon palang klaseng belief. Oo. Interesting. Okay, next. We'll move on to New Amsterdam. It's an American drama. And sino nag-provide ng ano ito, context?
Angeli.
Ay, ako ulit.
Angeli.
Sige.
Okay, so Angeli, go.
Okay. So, sa New Amsterdam, it's about the new medical director. Ito siya. Siya si Dr. Max. So, tanggap niya nung job as the new medical director of the hospital. And then, he called parang a big meeting of the staff. And then, he's asking parang people, what's the problem? How can he help? Tapos parang, I like this line kasi parang we all feel like the system is too big to change, but guess what? We are the system. So, we're the ones who need to change. Yes. Parang he calls the people, he calls out the people na parang, you need to tell me what you need, tell me what your patients need. Kasi parang, I may be the head of this hospital, but I need your input. Let's be doctors again. Ayun. Okay.
And I think in that clip, di ba, I think he also fired a lot of people.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he fired a lot of people. Parang may isang department siyang finire. Right then and
Parang
there.
nakakita siya ng parang anomaly. So parang, sige, let's kick out that department and start fresh.
Okay.
Parang
Okay.
ganun.
So prior to this scene, meron siyang na-discover na kababalaghan. Ganyan.
Yes.
I see. Okay. So what can you say about this? Does it happen? Does it happen in the practice na may ganyan?
It would be nice if it did. Really? Although, parang nakakita naman ako ng mga big shake-ups sa admin. I will not say anything because because you know where I work. But anyway, uh, but in real life, parang feeling ko it would be a very, very big controversy if you suddenly remove an entire department. Ganyan.
Lalo na at bago ka. Di ba?
Oh, bago kayo matatanggal ka na agad. I think ganyan. But it's a very nice mindset kasi we need to change things really. Pero ang problema lang, sometimes even when you want to change things, yung people in higher authority can undermine the change that you're trying to do. So, but it would be nice. It would be nice if it could
Actually,
happen.
parang dito sa drama na to, they also show that kasi parang no matter how much the medical director wants things to change, parang nakaharang pa rin siya ng medical board. Sila may pondo. So, kahit may gusto siyang gawin, you get blocked in the funding level. So, sorry.
May comment si Jella. I think she's watched the series. So she says, I wonder why he's allowed to continue his duties even with the sickness he has. pwede ba talaga yun? So, he has a terminal illness, the director.
He has napaisip ako
So,
eh.
yun. Pwede ba
Direct
talaga yun? Ay,
What is his terminal illness nga pala?
ano na ba? Spoiler warning. Sige. Spoiler warning. Turn off kapag ayaw mo marinig. Anyway. Okay, he has cancer.
Ah,
Okay.
I mean,
I
kung
think
di,
it would
does it affect his, like, his, parang overall, parang mindset and working? Parang, feeling ko naman, kasi, sige, kayo na lang. So, wala akong alam dito. So, yan. Pwede ba daw siyang mag-continue ng duties niya kahit may sakit siya? Yan.
I think kung functional pa siya, ganyan. Kasi, I mean, from the clips naman, then from the show, parang mukhang, ano naman siya, hindi naman siya mukhang
Mm-mm.
bedridden, mukhang, ano,
Mhm.
mukhang in his right, um, in his right capacity pa naman siya. So,
Mhm.
I think it would be allowable. Ganyan. Actually, maraming ang mga doktor na, ano kahit may sakit na, ito, si Suzette. nasa, ano, doing things. Ano, parang you would not, parang ang ko, at least to us doctors tuloy, as long as you're not bedridden, ganyan, parang,
Mhm.
we feel obligated to still, do our
Mm-mm.
duties. Yan. So, parang feeling ko baka ganun din yung expectation sa kanya, which is also sad.
Mm-mm.
Actually.
Pero parang dapat he knows where to draw the line. So parang kung alam mo hindi mo nakaya at nakaka-affect na yung decision making mo, especially since you're responsible for a lot of people. I haven't watched yung ibang episodes kasi, so I don't know really what's going to happen. Pero pag ganun, parang medyo nagpo-progress na yung symptoms mo, sit down na. Parang ganun siguro.
Okay. So, we'll move to the next one. It's Good Doctor, the US version of Good Doctor. I think this is Suzette gonna, provide the context for the scene. So this is the scene.
Okay, so the main protagonist here is Dr. Sean Murphy, and he's a surgical resident. So he's a surgeon in training, and so they got called to the ER. They meaning the surgical team on duty. So they have the consultant who's the male doctor, and then they also have other residents. So actually kaya ko siya napili because I don't well when I was doing my was it rotation in ER, I don't recall doctors discussing right in front of the patient the diagnosis. Parang, I know. So anyways, so they were discussing the case of the patient in front of the patient, and then they were looking at the CT scan, and Dr. Sean Murphy blurts out something like, ano parang you have cancer. Oh, so the patient, that's why the patient is reacting that way. And then after that, the next scene is so they leave the ER and they discuss it among themselves. And one of the doctor is yan, so they're discussing na if ever they want to do the surgery. And there's this one doctor who's very eager to do the surgery. Yun. So yan, it's you're drooling, right, about cutting open a 40-year-old woman. So my reaction here was the bedside manner. So I feel like it's hard then. I mean, for personally for a doctor, it's hard to disclose to a patient if you have something na a serious illness. No, so it parang feeling ko it also takes parang yun yung art of medicine comes into that na okay, you have the science, you have the technology, but ultimately it's the patient doctor relationship then. So um ano yun eh, parang yeah. So it's an art, and it, it's hard to to sometimes it's hard to disclose. So I have a very good friend who's an oncologist. So hats off to my friend because I don't know how she does it. But she's one of those person na yung that yung may ego strength niya, that yung mindset niya is very parang very strong. And so I haven't actually asked her how she does it eh. Pero yun na nga, that's a part of being a doctor na um, it's that's one of the parang more difficult things yun. And also yun na nga, so anyway, I don't know if the others can weigh in on that regarding bedside manners. And another thing is also like somebody during my residency, somebody parang meron nga nagko-comment na sometimes even if you're the most intelligent doctor, you're but if you lack bedside manners, the patients you won't you won't the patients won't trust you, or they won't go back to you. Yun.
And ano, yeah, that's true. Kasi you have to have rapport with your patients din. Kasi nga, parang ang laging ang sinasabi sa amin during med school na you're treating a human being and not the chart. You're not treating their laboratory tests. Ganyan. So always, and disclosing bad news is always very hard. Even actually, even sa mga diagnostic specialties like us, we also, kunyari, pathology, we give the diagnosis. So, minsan, we also have patients asking us, yung report po ba malignant, doc? Ganyan. So, yun. So, it's an art, actually, the part of being able to talk to your patients. And also, what I found interesting about that episode was yung reaction ng mga doctors, even parang yung outside the door reaction nila, di ba? Di ba sabi, yung bedside manner, but there's no such thing as outside the door manner. Kasi, yun nga eh, kasi I think this was also one of the comments to the Doctor is in Love, my story when Joaquin and Mayumi were discussing yung the new technologies the new findings in this convention that they're looking at. It's interesting. But then if you think about it, what it is interesting to us doctors, but it's alive. It's bad news for the patient, di ba? Parang for us doctors, it sometimes it's an opportunity to learn, ganyan. But then it is also a bad thing for a patient. So there should actually be yung outside the door manners then kasi parang you do have to remember that you're dealing with patients' lives talaga. So yeah, that's what I liked about that particular clip.
Yes, EK.
Wait lang. Ayun. I practically don't watch Good Doctor, pero I know one particular thing about this series. The main character kasi is neurodivergent. So um so ang point ko lang, yes, he's learning to not be this derecho all the time, but also what are you telling people about people who are neurodivergent? Yun. Yun. So, even, parang, uh, yun. You're setting expectations about people who are neurodivergent. You should be when neurodivergent people are capable of emotion. They have some difficulty with it, yes, but they can, they can learn, they can, diba? You can learn to adjust to people, and this character has been learning to adjust to people. So ayun, so So, nakakainis lang yung other people who refuse to learn about him, around him. Ayun lang. Yeah, thank you. Ayun lang.
I can't say anything about the Good Doctor na US kasi I haven't seen it. But the Korean version, the original version, I saw it. And yun nga, parang there, sa parang department niya, tawag dito, parang dalawang tao lang ata yung medyo supportive. And then sa nurses, ano naman, sa nurses side, yung mga supportive din sa kanya. But like, he's also faced with like opposition from yung chief resident yata ng department niya. But back kasi siya nung I think the director of the
Director,
hospital
yeah.
Yes.
or
Naku,
hindi,
yeah.
ewan ko, hindi yata director eh. Basta somebody lower pero ano din, influential din siya. So para kaya siya nakapasok din sa hospital because of that that person who is actually his mentor. So that's how I remember the Korean version of the Good Doctor. And sa Good Doctor kasi na Korean ano pedia siya. Pediatric
Mm.
surgery. So, dito ata is general. I'm not sure.
Lahat
Yes,
na.
oo.
Nag-gynae din sila.
Oo. Pero
Everything.
I don't know if in the Korean version, there's a scene in the first episode where the president, who's his, parang his, parang father figure, mentor,
Mm. Mm.
parang he was, parang, ano ba to, convincing the board to give
Yeah.
Mm.
a chance, diba?
Yes.
Parang for yung mga for the yeah, and actually maganda yung speech niya doon. And also
They
I
made
think
him
I
talk in front of the, in front of the board, no?
oo.
Board.
Tapos parang ang feeling ko the female resident, surgical resident, parang feeling ko siya yung kino-contrast with Sean Murphy. With Sean Murphy. Na siya yung parang ang pinapalabas nila Sean Murphy is more cerebral and the female one is more uh, emotional. Parang ganon.
Mm-hmm.
There's that, parang na feeling ko you have to point nila, you have to balance it.
Mm.
Parang
Mm-hmm.
ganon. Balance your heart and yung mind.
Yeah.
Ayun.
Yeah, I think same. Kasi meron ding female resident sa, na naging parang
Mm.
mentor niya rin.
Ganun.
And
Okay.
then, eventually, love interest in the, the Korean
Ah,
version. So,
okay.
kasi parang, siya yung pinaghan, kasi parang, the chief resident sa department nila. And then ayaw niya dun sa bagong doctor kasi nga he's neurodivergent and tawag dito, mahirap siyang pakisamahan, parang ganun, mahirap siyang turuan. And then the female doctor parang took him under her wing, parang ganun. Siya yung naging parang
Mm.
mentor niya during
Okay.
his,
Same, parang
uh,
ganun din.
Mm.
ayun. Okay, so we'll move on to the next drama. It's called The Fragile. I think this is Leslie's, recommendation. So, okay, I'll show the slide
Because I
now.
keep recommending I keep recommending this drama to people. Kasi, so this Japanese drama is about a pathologist. So, yeah, tapos yung hindi pa siya yung the type of pathologist that a lot of people know. It's yung hindi siya forensic pathologist. He is a surgical pathologist. And in this episode, they do an actual procedure na very accurate. So, they do what is called a frozen section. And yung frozen section is while the patient is still being operated on, they send a specimen for biopsy to the laboratory, and the pathologist gives a diagnosis while they're still waiting for that, and based on his diagnosis, um, that will determine the next steps in the surgery, kung if they'll do a more drastic surgery, or they'll just already close and leave and then discharge the patient, ganun. Tapos, and I like that episode kasi may part talaga where they show yung procedure, yung actual procedure, staining, cutting of the slides, ganyan. And also they show actual histopath pictures na accurate naman. Ay, nitignan ko, ay, tamang benign breast nga. And as someone from a specialty that is little known from to people. It's nice to see us as the star. Ganyan. And uh, bitter talaga ako yun. Pero ano, and this show is very accurate in its portrayal. It also shows um yung how he is looked down on by other specialties, by IM ganyan. Tapos it also shots pa. And so
Ah,
and Just I know, and pero yung character niya ano rin medyo arrogant, but it's a justified kind of arrogance, I think. So, tas ano rin, meron din part dyan na may ibang episodes din na about other specialties like radiology. So, yun, it's a very nice series. Kasi nga, we don't we're not hindi kami bida pala.
ah, ang
Then,
reaction
we,
ko
we,
lagi ang
then
reaction ko
natapos
talaga
na tayo
dito
sa Grace. Sorry.
ay,
Then,
sorry.
We just did one scene from Grey's Anatomy. Balikan na lang sa replay. Okay,
Ano ba?
Angeli, what was that? You were saying something?
Ang reaction ko dito parang I'm happy for Doc Leslie. Na parang, oh yes, the pathologists are the star. I'm so happy. Tapos parang ang second reaction ko, Nook Medwen.
oo nga, yun
Parang wala,
eh.
we are invisible.
Parang wala nga yata yung nukmek. May
At
radio dun
all.
sa show. Ganyan. At tapos gusto ko rin din sa clip na yun pala, parang friends kasi sila nung surgeon. Parang,
Ah, that's
yung,
nice. Oo, bakit naman?
bumababa talaga yung surgeon to look at the slides, ganyan. Tapos, medyo nilalandi pa nga siya.
Ay, may hidden agenda pala si Doc eh. Ay, naku.
Work and leisure at the same time. Ganun ba yun?
Killing two birds.
Dapat ba ina-adjust yung yung microscope over the shoulder, ganyan.
Ay.
Ayan na naman!
Ayun o!
No.
Nandito ka sa O, Leslie
Note,
Alam mo na, may prompt si Doc, Suzette. Okay, abangan natin yan, yung parang yung pag nagtuturo ka mag-gitara,
wow.
or nagtuturo ka
Ayun.
mag-golf, ganyan, so, or baseball, merong okay.
Or habang nagkakat sa microtome, pwedeng ganun, i-guide mo yung kamay. Ay, anyway.
Para-paraan, Doc.
Okay. Okay, last na pala to. So we have, yung last show natin is Hospital Playlist. So we have two scenes from the show. Ako magpo-provide ng content. So the first scene is from episode 5. This is, may, there's trigger warning, meron kasing case of domestic abuse sa bata na naging pasyente. So, naipasok yung bata sa ER and the father said, na-aksidente sila, ganyan, na parang nabangga yung kotse nila and then nagkaroon ng bruises yung bata. But as Jongwon, the pediatric surgeon, is checking the child, nakita niya na may bruises na fresh, at may bruises na hindi fresh. So parang meron siyang suspicion that this is child abuse, and he asks one of the resident surgeons, si Diol, to call the police kasi nga yun nga na meron siyang suspicion na inaabuso yung bata. So tawag dito, can you speak on that kasi inisip ko kung is this a standard procedure for hospitals na if a doctor suspects domestic abuse, do they actually really call the police, and what's the paano siya? Ay, Leslie, naka-mute ka.
Hindi, as I was saying, does anyone want to weigh in? Pero yun, meron ngang standard procedure for that. Pag may suspect of domestic violence or child abuse, you alert yung usually may department na involved in that, yung legal medicine na department, or I think in some hospitals meron talaga silang yung
Yeah.
department for yung violence against women and children.
There's a
So
parang
Hmm.
child protection unit tsaka parang women's
But
Social
is
protection.
there
service.
something na parang, do you follow a certain parang kind of protocol? Kasi syempre parang, if you suspect something, do you immediately do it or parang do you do test muna kasi baka mamaya talagang aksidente lang or whatever? How do you determine when to call? Sige, Ike, go.
Ah, ayun. Ah, yun, merong pattern. I will not say it here para obviously para ano lang. Pero may pattern siya na tinuturo sa textbooks both ng surgery, radiology, orthopedics, tsaka pedia. Tsaka kung ano ang itsura na dapat nag-iisip. Tsaka sa amin pala sa IFM, meron talagang chapter yan. Um, ito yung pattern na kailangan ka talaga mag-isip ng violence against family member. Yun. Pag nakita mo tong pattern na to, may paper for documentation para talagang um, may papers yan na para imarkahan kung saan nakalagay, kung i-description, kung ano yung itsura para kasama doon sa papeles na isasubmit sa mga pulis para well documented at may laban kapag uwabot sa sa pulis, sa korte. 'Yun, ganoon siya. Tapos 'yun, tsaka merong legal medicine division, lalo na yung mga government hospitals para dito. 'Yun. Tapos
May,
so 'yun, may
meron
may
palang
system
ganun.
in place. Running after
Yeah.
suspect, medyo a bit too much yun. Usually
uh,
security yun.
ano,
ayun siya mapahabol mo
sa
sa
for
security.
dramatic effect lang, for dramatic effect lang yung next scene doon kasi the actual scene progresses into parang hinabol ni Yol yung tatay inside the hospital premises kasi nagtatry mag-escape. Anyway, okay.
Mm. Pero
So, yun.
ako parang I felt yung scene na yun, it was accurate in a sense na that's how, personally, that's how I feel when I come across cases na ganun. Yung
Mhm.
parang gusto mo na lang yung bata na ano, alis agad doon sa
The
abuse.
environment.
Oo. So, medyo it's siyempre dramatic ano yun, but it's the same feeling. It's the same feeling for me. How angry I am yun when I encounter cases like that.
Okay. Sino may,
I
yeah,
forgot.
okay.
I forgot. Totoo rin yung social work. So dito sa atin yan yung Bantay Bata one among others. Yan yung DSWD saka yung
Mhm.
semi-private yung Bantay Bata. Yun. Diyan sila pumapasok for cases like this. Kino-contact sila kapag pag may cases na ganito. Yan.
Mm-mm.
Ay,
Okay.
ano ba, ako in the hospital I worked with before, may gano'n talaga. So, naka-encounter ako ng ganitong isang case. So, immediately we separated yung parang child na being suspected a victim of abuse. Tapos dinala siya sa child protection unit where parang immediately nag-appoint ng social worker. May social workers talaga dun sa unit na yon to take care of
Mhm.
yung welfare niya while yun, sine-separate at nag-investigate yung
Mm-mm.
authorities. Ayun, ganun. May procedure ng
Mm.
ganun.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so hi. This is the second scene from Hosplay and the last one for this stream. Ayan. So, medyo comedy to kasi basta yun. I'm gonna provide context. So, there's a patient in the ER who has aneurysm and na-diagnose nila na may aneurysm. And then, since it's a busy day for NS, yung neurosurgery department, um, nagkapasahan sila ng duties, ganyan. So, they asked one of the interns to shave the person kasi to prepare him for surgery, for coil embolization. And then when the residents came in to check kung ready na-find out nila na mali yung area na shinave, sa ulo shinave, yan. So, medyo comedy yung effect niya. So, Yon, does this happen? Or I mean, kasi di ba may mga hospital bloopers, ganyan. So, is this something that, that you have encountered or something like that?
First of all, ang ganda ng City Anjo. from an imaging specialty, I appreciate. Ang ganda. Ayun nga, aneurysm. Okay, anyway. Sige, cerebral blood cell. Ang ganda. Okay. Anyway, second, ano pa? Well, intern yung gumawa, no? So, parang at that age of your training kasi, prone talaga to mistakes. So, parang kasi, residency is a different, I'm in residency right now, so parang I can speak from experience. It's a different world din from medical school kasi parang nagfo-focus ka na on one thing talaga on one particular field of medicine. Tapos, sobrang vast niya, sobrang wide ang taas ng learning curve. There are a lot of things na parang you still have to know and master, ganyan. So, I would understand na parang siguro pagod din si intern at confused siya. Tapos on top of all the other things na kailangan niyang gawin, ito, nadagdag pa sa trabaho niya to. At kailangan niya gawin. Okay, so sige, gawin ko na lang. Sunod na lang ako. Mapapagalitan ako kung hindi ko susundin eh. Yun. Tapos, third, sana si senior na nag-utos, minake sure niya na aware si junior niya na how to do yung inutos niya. Tapos kung na-find out, kasi niya sooner na parang, ay, hindi pala niya alam, edi, sige, turo ko sa'yo. Ayun. Kasi nga, mataas learning curve, daming kailangan. Kahit yung ganyang mga seemingly simple things, di ba? Mag-shave ka. Confusing pa.
Paminsan kasi nakakahiyang magtanong din eh. Lalo na pag intern ka, tapos magtanong ka pa. So parang masama pa na hindi mo alam yan, gaganunin ka pa. So parang,
Oh my
so
gosh,
gagawin mo na lang kung ano yung, kung ano yung akala mong tama. Ganyan. Yeah, it would help sana kung hindi masyadong toxic yung hierarchy para hindi ka mahihiyang and prevent these mistakes. So, ang experience, hindi kasi ako ito ang may experience na similar, parang sa tatay ko kasi experience ng dad ko, parang may nag-a-assist kasi sila dun sa isang surgery, tapos yung co-intern niya, ang ano kasi yung knot, pag gagawa ka ng knot sa surgery, kailangan parang you step on it, parang yung ano mo siya, i-flat mo dun sa surface para mas madaling i-knot nung actual surgeon. So, yun yung gagawin ng assist is he will step on the knot so the surgeon can. Tapos, din ang sinabi ng surgeon, okay, step on it. Akala niya, bilisan niya yung movements niya. So, bilisan niya yung movements niya. No, not step on it.
Akala ko apakan. Oh, buti lang hindi niya inapakan.
Pwede rin. Yun, so parang may mga ganong bloopers nga na pwedeng mangyari. And it happens sa hospital talaga.
Ayan, okay. Speaking of bloopers, meron ba kayong ma-share na bloopers na experience nyo so that we can end this stream in a lighter environment, ganyan.
Oh my.
Pwedeng personal. I mean,
may personal akong blooper na kasi meron kaming patient before na nag-submit ng na I think I put this in Ghost of a Feeling kasi sobrang tawang-tawa ako dun sa nangyari na yun. May patient kami na naglagay ng stool specimen niya in an ice cream container. Yan. Tapos, yung co-intern ko nila, yung co-clerk ko, nilagay niya dun sa room, dun sa clerk's room. Grabe, muntik nang may kumain kasi akala niya ice cream talaga.
Oh my gosh, nakakaloka.
Oh my.
I'm sorry for those who are eating. Sorry.
Medyo horrifying yung thought, no, na parang when you open, I mean, di ba,
Oh
in dito sa Pilipinas, meron tayong meme lagi na parang pag nagbukas ka ng ice cream, isda yung laman, or some kind of ulam, ganyan. Pero I mean, that's even more, that's even more horrifying. So, parang gusto mo ng ice cream, pero oh no.
Yung pinaka-blooper na naalala ko. Kayo ba, may?
Kaya dapat nilalabelan kasi ng tama.
Dapat may label.
Oh my
Ano ba?
God.
Ako usually pag naka-scrub na ako, pag sterile na ako, doon ako nangangati. Parang one time, intern ata ako, parang, so naka-scrub na, di ba? So sterile ka na. Tapos, nangati yung ilong ko, parang kinamot ko siya, nahuli ako. So, okay, labas ka ng OR. So, scrub ka ulit. Or paminsan, pag nasa loob ka ng OR, di ba, talagang nangangati ka. Sabi mo sa nurse, makamot na
Parang hindi naman may iwasan kasi minsan, di ba, the surgery take so long. Like, ang haba nung, so, kung hindi ka mangangati, siguro mangangalay ka, parang gusto mong, alam mo yun, umupo or whatever. Like, kasi, siyempre, ang reference ko naman is hospital daily. Yung mga surgery nila, minsan 12 hours, 14 hours. So, parang, kakaloka. Diba? Parang kailangan mo talaga ng support na, I mean, kung medyo may something na nakatira dyan sa likuran mo. Wala.
Yung classmate ko ata, I think, he fainted eh. He fainted while he was assisting. But I think he was exhausted. So parang nag-a-assist siya, retractor na ganyan.
Oh no, grabe.
Pero wala nang buti naman, walang nangyari sa kanya masama. But yun.
Sobrang pagod. Sobrang,
Oo.
my gosh, grabe din.
Diba?
Grabe din
Paminsan,
talaga.
like, you go into the OR and then especially pag long yung OR, tapos emergency, abutan ka na sumisikat na yung araw. Nasa loob pa rin kayo ng operating room.
it happens.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else? Before we
Ano ba?
go?
Nag-isip ako. Ako sige.
More like masyadong marami.
Ano ba? Pick one, Doc. Pick one.
Pero hindi.
Ako nung intern ako, parang, ano ba rotation ko nun? OB ata. Sometimes we're asked to call yung relative nung patient para magbigay ng reseta. Ito po yung bibilin yung gamot, ganyan. Eh, from ata ako nun, punta naman ako. May nakita akong parang siya yung bantay. Binigay ko yung reseta. Kayo po ba yung bantay ni patient ganito? Binigay ko, ito po, bibili niyo po. Tapos maya-maya sabi niya, I'm the consultant. Oh my God! Parang ako, inutusan ko yung consultant, Lord, help!
Ay, nako.
Pumasa naman ako ng rotation. So anyway, hindi naman ata niya nakita yung nameplate ko na saan ko siya.
Nag-evaluate pa siya. As in, okay.
Siya ata yung duty on that day na parang, oh my gosh talaga. Angeli.
Okay. So now, since we're done with the reaction thing, ganyan, and we're closing our live stream in a few. I would like to invite you all, you doctors, to please promote your book. Before we end. Ayan. So kahit sino pwede magsalita about the book.
Our TO, Char. Binolunteer.
Dapat department chair. Please buy Hindi ako rin mag-pro. Please. So, The Doctor is in Love is an anthology, 4-story anthology of medical romance stories by doctors. And doctors are also on the cover. And it's available in online and in print locally through romanceclassbooks.com. And so to the links below, please get a copy of our book and you get these wonderful freebies, photo cards, and collect them all. Collect them all.
Meron bang trade yan? May trading ba ng photo cards na nagaganap? Baka bidding.
Oo nga, may nangyayari na yatang trading.
May, si Sir Paulo parang interested siyang mag-trade at bid eh.
And then we might write another one. Sinabi na, wala pa nga.
Ayan na. The Doctor is in Love too.
Oo, kasi gusto daw ni Angeli ng Nukmed naman daw. So.
Baka naman.
Ayan, okay. So, parting shots from you guys. What else do you want to see? I mean, sorry. Natanong natin. What else do you want yourselves to, alam mo yun, to explore when it comes to writing medical fiction or medical romance, ganyan. Bukod sa nuclear. I mean, is there anything else that you want to, is there anything that you want to explore in that subgenre?
Gusto ko yung binanggit ni Doc EK kanina. Doc EK, please write it.
Yung
outside
hospital setting. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yung mga Doctor to the Barrio, type.
Or yung Doctors Without Borders, ganyan.
Ako like, actually like urban fantasy.
You can write.
Yun na nga.
Yun na nga.
Dr. Wellness na daw.
Ha? Dr. Dr. Manananggal.
Yeah.
Sige, yung susunod natin. Yung susunod natin.
Assign mythical creature doctor to one doctor. Manananggal, Dr. Tikbalang, Dr. Manananggal, Dr. Capre.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Dr. Aswang.
Nuno. Aswang. Mas maganda yun. Don't challenge me.
Ayan na.
Pangalawang anthology, may paranormal,
Oo, paranormal elements. Diba? Okay yan.
Ito na nga yung sinasabi natin ng mga live stream ng Romance Class nanganganak ng anthology. New input ng Romance Class.
Ayan.
Oh my God.
Winner!
Sikat
Okay,
yan. Nagsabi, hindi akala ko si Paolo.
May title na. Ayan.
May title na. Oh my gosh.
Sige.
Ayan na. So please take note. Ito na po yung kasunod na anthology.
Ayan na.
Pakiready na po yung mga budget nyo.
Kay Angeli yung title ng story niya, The Transverse Cut. Transverse Cut. For Manananggal. Hindi the first cut, the transverse cut.
Ay, nako.
Ayan, sige. Paki-take note na po, yung mga nasa chat, paki-screenshot para meron tayong resibo. Actually, kasama naman pala sa replay yung chat, so makikita pa rin natin yan. Kat, wag ka mag-sorry. That was brilliant.
Thank you for that.
Ayan. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with us this afternoon. To our 16 million viewers right now. 16 million. Thank you so much. Almost 2 hours kami nandito. Salamat for Ay, meron ng recommendation ng trailer sa kanta. Ayan na. Ayan.
Of course.
Salamat for joining us.
Yes, there
And
can be no other.
before we go, I'd like to advertise talaga. Every Wednesday we have a Kilig Cafe Sprint with Nina Vies Guerra. That's Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Para sa mga gustong sumali at makisprint kay Nina, punta lang kayo sa kilig.pub/twitch every Wednesday at 9 a.m. So, sooner or later, feeling ko magkakaroon ng night owl version. Yun. So, para sa mga nagtatrabaho sa umaga. Although, actually, when I joined the sprints, I actually work kasi yun yung time ng work ko eh. So, ayan. So, you can join it and just interact or whatever. I know that there are people who have been writing with Lina for the past 3 weeks. So, yeah, weekend sprints, pwede rin. Pwede. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. And yun, tawag dito, Kilig Cafe will be having another set of these chats in the near future in September. We're still finalizing the schedules. But next week, alam ko meron tayong Romance Class podcast. We'll announce it at on our Instagram and Twitter account. So please follow us on Romance Class Books on Instagram and Romance Class BKF on Twitter. Yan. Thank you so much, guys. Si Tanya may pahabol. It will make you kilig and also scare your pants. Yes.
May tagline na rin. Okay.
That's the selling point. Ayan. Thank you so much, Angeli, Celestine, EK, Suzette, for joining us this afternoon, and everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for being here and making the chat very
Thank
interesting
you.
and fun. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Have a happy weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.